What if a single bullet could ignite a war that would engulf the world in unprecedented carnage? The First World War, often remembered as the Great War, was not just a sudden outburst of violence but the culmination of decades of political tension, rival empires, and nationalist fervor. But how did Europe reach the brink of such a catastrophic conflict, and who truly bears the blame? Dive with me into the shadowy labyrinth of intrigue, alliances, and ambitions that set the stage for the deadliest war the world had ever seen. The roots of this monumental conflict stretch far beyond the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in the summer of 1914. Europe in the early 20th century was a powder keg, teetering on the edge due to a volatile mixture of imperialism, rising nationalism, militarism, and entangled alliances. More than just a single nation or event ignited this inferno. It was a collective failure of diplomacy and restraint among many powerful states. At the heart of this tension was the rise of a new giant in Central Europe, Germany. Born from the victorious Prussian unification after the Franco-Prussian War of 1870, Germany rapidly transformed from a patchwork of states into a formidable empire. Its booming economy, swelling population, and militaristic prowess challenged the established powers of Britain, France, Russia, and Austria-Hungary. Under the formidable leadership of Otto von Bismarck, the first chancellor of unified Germany, the delicate balance of power in Europe was carefully maintained through a web of alliances designed to isolate France and keep peace. Yet after Bismarck's dismissal in 1890, Germany's foreign policy grew more assertive, veering towards an aggressive world policy under Kaiser Wilhelm II. This new German ambition disrupted the status quo. Germany's rapid naval expansion alarmed Britain, sparking a fierce arms race on the seas. France sought security through an alliance with Russia, and Britain forged closer ties with France and Russia, forming the Triple Entente. Was Europe hurtling blindly towards conflict as distrust and competition deepened? Meanwhile, the Balkans simmered with unrest. A mosaic of ethnic groups under the weakening Ottoman Empire sought independence or expansion, creating a volatile tinderbox. Serbia, fiercely nationalist and supported by Russia, sought to unite Slavic peoples, directly threatening Austria-Hungary's diverse empire. Tensions exploded in a series of Balkan wars, redrawing maps and fueling resentments. Austria-Hungary's annexation of Bosnia-Herzegovina in 1908 exposed the fault lines further, provoking anger and fear across the continent. In this precarious climate, Archduke Franz Ferdinand's visit to Sarajevo in 28 June 1914 was a gesture filled with unintended peril. His assassination by the young Bosnian Serb nationalist, Gavrilo Princip, unleashed events spiraling beyond anyone's control. The assassination was not merely an isolated act of violence but a spark that lit the fuse of a deeply interconnected system of alliances and rivalries. Austria-Hungary, with Germany's unequivocal support, issued an ultimatum to Serbia that was impossible to accept fully, setting the stage for war. Russia mobilized to protect its Slavic ally, triggering German declarations of war and a cascade of mobilizations across Europe. Plans like the German Schlieffen Plan sought quick victories, invading neutral Belgium, which drew Britain inevitably into the conflict. In a matter of days, a regional crisis became a world war. The horrors that followed shattered illusions about war's glorified myths. Millions of lives were lost, empires crumbled, and a new world order was born from the ruins. The Treaty of Versailles, ending the conflict, assigned blame largely to Germany and its allies, but historians now view the causes as shared responsibilities among all nations involved. Why does this story still resonate today? The unresolved grievances, harsh settlements, and nationalist fervor left by the Great War sowed the seeds of another, even deadlier conflict mere decades later. Understanding these causes reminds us of the fragility of peace and the devastating consequences when diplomacy fails. Enjoyed the video? Give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more. See you in the next one.